Labour have done quite a big reshuffle today. Did you see any of it? There's been quite a few promotions, a few demotions. Let's have a little look, see whether or not I can bring some of those up on the screen. And actually, it'll be interesting to see. I'll throw to you first, Scarlett. It'll be interesting to see whether or not this is, is this going to be the team now that takes us into the next election?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll have any changes before then or not?
There are not supposed to be any changes.
So
this is supposed to be the team that goes into the election, hopefully wins it and goes into government. That's how he's chosen them, right?
And do you look at that squad there and do you think, yes, that is the team that can win the next election?
I mean, I know quite a few of them. They are really, really good. I mean, I think it's great. And it's quite interesting is that I texted my sister about one in particular, and she said...
Which one in particular? Get it back up on the screen, by the way, because I don't think people can speed read that quick.
Debonair.
Bristol East?
Bristol West, who's the new shadow Culture, Media and Sport Secretary, which is great because she was a professional cellist. Right. And so to have somebody who's really serious about the arts in it is great, actually. I mean, she was completely thrilled.
All right. Well, what do you make to what you see unfolding there on your screen?
Well, let's...
Do you feel threatened? As a Tory, do you look at that and go,
no,
that is who's going to cost me the election?
I don't, but there's one thing I think that's undeniable and should be said in the interests of being reasonable. This is plainly a much better team than Jeremy Corbyn had, right? And some people think that's damning by faint praise, and that's not how I mean it. What I mean it as, I actually think the Conservative Party has every chance of winning the next election, but if that was...
do you, honestly?
I absolutely do. Not just in a hung parliament, but winning the next election. And I think the country at large has yet to make up its mind about Keir Starmer. Yet polls are often wrong. Indeed, polls were absolutely wrong about Brexit for years before we had the vote.
But Alex, I remember I've been on the show with you when Labour were behind, and you said, and if there's an election, you will lose. And now you're saying polls are wrong.
Well, that's what I can't remember at what point that was the case, but I thought that you would lose then, and I think you'll lose now. So my position hasn't changed.
but you said the polls.
I was seeking... Well, no, but my view wasn't based on the polls. My view was based on the credibility of the Labour Party. And I genuinely think that the Labour Party has improved in credibility vastly since the last election. So I'm conceding that. And I want to say one more thing in the interests of fairness, which is that, in my view, that is a healthy state of play. It is only right that the opposition should be ready to form government and should posture as if it's ready to form government. Jeremy Corbyn, in my view, never actually looked like he was going to take the reins of government. Keir Starmer is at least trying to position himself as if he is.
But I don't think that Jeremy Corbyn got an easy ride from the media, did he? I mean, he's not my kind of politics.
Neither is Keir Starmer.
I
don't think... I mean, it's not for me to defend the media or otherwise, but I think people are relatively consistent on that front. I mean, the media is consistently, in my view, slightly more hostile to the Conservative Party than to the left, but that reflects the broad left-wing, left-of-centre position of the media class.
I agree with Michelle. I was never a Corbynista.
Sure.
I do agree with Michelle that he did get a really, really hard time from the media and never got taken seriously in a way that actually, I mean, Boris Johnson was allowed to sort of just get in without
Let's ask about this. Let me just bring it back to the Shadow Cabinet.
Yeah.
Phil says, why on earth has Angela Rayner been given such a prominent position? What do you think to the role that she's now got? She's basically got one of the positions that Lisa Nandy had. She's now Shadow Levelling Up Secretary and Shadow Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, so the Deputy Prime Minister is because she's the deputy leader and she was elected. So I think that's quite straightforward. It's absolutely right that that's what he did. The levelling up, I mean, the thing about Angela is she gets levelling up. I mean, she's lived through that.
You don't think Lisa Nandy did?
I think Angela probably will do it better. I think Angela needs something where she really where she can really get her teeth into it. I think she wanted a proper delivery job. The problem with the Cabinet Office is it's quite amorphous. It's about government. Interestingly, they've got 3 people in it to look at government. But actually, when you do levelling up, I mean, I have a lot of time for Lisa Nandy. I think she's great on the media, but she was not making anything.
I've got to say, look, I three-quarters agree. On the half I agree with you on is that she was elected, and that's the system the Labour Party has, so there it is. The quarter I agree with you on is that she needed a proper job. You can't have a deputy and then not have an actual role, or at least you shouldn't. The part I don't is, I mean, Lisa Nandy, in my view, is a much better performer than Angela Rayner.
One of my viewers, Doug, makes an interesting point. He says, why are you referring to it as Starmer's cabinet? Why are you referring to it as Blair's cabinet? And there's been a lot of, shall we say, interest and conversation about just how many Blairites are in the shadow cabinet.